We've got royalty in the studio
Sadiq Khan has criticised the government's failure to ban zombie knives, labelling it a betrayal of safety, and he's calling on James Cleverly to fast-track legislation and bring forward a ban on the sale of weapons.
And on that, just looking at this, we've got Charlie here, but I've been looking. Since 2016, 8 Home Secretaries have said they're going to ban these zombie knives. Let's name and shame them. Theresa May, Amber Rudd, Sajid Javid, Priti Patel, Suella Braverman, Grant Shapps, Suella Braverman again, and James Cleverly. And they haven't done it.
They haven't done it, and they've made some 16 different announcements about it. So Sadiq Khan said that young people have been betrayed by the government in them not pushing forward this plan to ban zombie knives. It was announced most recently, after all those Home Secretaries you've just listed, Andrew, in January. But the ban is expected to come in September. Now, it's not been included. These amendments to the Criminal Justice Bill haven't been included in the wash-up ahead of the election. So it's highly unlikely we're going to see that ban implemented. In the meantime, it's still possible to purchase what the government are now calling zombie-style knives. This is what I got online.
Yikes.
I purchased this without needing to offer my ID and without offering or showing any ID when the courier arrived to deliver it.
If you're listening on the radio, let's just explain to you what this is.
So a zombie knife definition, it's got to be over 8 inches. This blade is a 20-inch long knife. It has to have a sharp point, a cutting edge, and a serrated or spiked area, as we have here. It also needs to potentially have a gap, as we have in this blade. But here's the real problem that they had when they tried to first ban this in 2016. They said that a zombie knife had to have threatening language or emblems on the blade. The most updated definition, which is a huge loophole that criminals have been able to evade for so long and manufacturers have been able to sell them, they've updated it now to remove that section about threatening language. So all of the Home Secretaries who've tried to ban this have been completely failing because they've been able to move that away.
Why did it have to have threatening language on it?
That was
just look at it. They are. Why would anybody need ever to own one of those disgusting blades?
Couriers I've spoken to and retailers I've spoken to say that it's for replica purposes, people who want to display swords in their home.
Well,
and of course,
no.
But once you start banning blades being sold, you get in the way of potentially banning kitchen items or tools you use for gardening and all the rest of it. So
who has a kitchen knife as long as that?
Well, that's a legitimate concern. People don't have it.
Come on.
But banning replica items would get in the way of some other problems. And actually, police officers I've been speaking to since I revealed that I was able to buy these blades without any ID checks told me it's not really the supply of the weapons that's causing the problem. It's a failure with prison sentences and stop and search, and police officers not having the powers and indeed the confidence and backing from government to get on with it and stop them. So that's what Labour's calling for the ban on the supply.
How could you hide that zombie knife about your person?
I've seen several clips, and I'm sure many of our viewers have as well, of people sliding zombie knives, as they're called, down their tracksuit bottoms, keeping them in long bags, pulling them out of jackets. They can be kept away. I mean, I've had them in the office in a secure area, and I was able to move them around, and nobody knows.
How much did they cost?
So I bought these for £40, this twin set of blades. And here's another issue that the government has had with removing them and getting them off the streets. They're offering a compensation scheme, as they often do with knife bans. They did this 4 years ago. But the announcement and then the delay towards the actual compensation hand-in process starting is several months. So in many ways, critics have said that you're incentivised to keep a hold of the blade for longer because you know that some months down the line, you can get paid 30 quid to hand it in.
Go and get some more, go and steal them off your mate.
I'm going to hand this in to the police later. I don't want it. I shouldn't have it. But if I hold on to it until August the 26th, which is when the compensation scheme kicks in this year, I'll get 30 quid in my pocket. 30 quid I'd quite like, actually.
You couldn't make this up, could you?
Well, there we go. So it is
madness.
It is a particularly ludicrous situation.
I despair.
Well, last night I spoke to a Labour source who told me that the party had been urging the Tories for years to get to grip of this situation. They said on their watch, knife crime has soared by a staggering 80% since 2015. They said it was another example of the Tories' chaotic failure to keep our country safe.
Well, a lot of that is because politically correct policing, they won't do stop and search
This is
properly.
true.
And part of the problem there is Sadiq Khan, of course, the London mayor, who's causing a lot of fuss about this. But he's the police and crime commissioner, and he doesn't want to do stop and search.
And the Conservative Party, a spokesman in response, said that they would take no lectures from Sadiq Khan on crime. And they said that knife crime has risen by a shocking 20% in Labour-run London.
The people are the problem. The knives are the problem. But we can sit here with these knives and we don't want to stab each other with them.
I'd be careful with that bit.
The people who want to kill other people are the problem, and that's what needs to be sorted out. The wrong-uns who routinely walk down the street with this in their jogging pants, those are the people I want banged up or arrested and sorted out. It's a crime and punishment issue as much as it is a buying something off the internet
and it's all part of gang culture, Charlie, isn't it? A lot of this?
We've got to We've got to read this.
Well, the government
this is
said
the
that they
second
banned zombie knives in 2016 and cyclone knives in 2019, and the sale of illegal knives online is a priority on the Online Safety Act. They also said that the choice in this election is clear. Stick to the plan with Rishi Sunak and the Conservatives, who have driven down crime by 54% since 2010, or go back to square one with Sir Keir Starmer's Labour Party, who have no plan to cut crime. So two very strong positions here, but it's clear from our investigation you can still buy these. Both retailers and couriers aren't checking ID. Children could buy these blades. That's very clear to me.
You could have been
Absolutely.
17.
I was reporting overseas when these arrived, so there was no way I could have been checked whatsoever. It wasn't even that they didn't check my ID. They didn't check the ID of the person who picked them up.
Because they don't care.
Complete failure.
What country did you buy them from?
I bought them from Britain. Bought them from a
They
British
were bought
retailer.
from a British retailer. You didn't have to buy them overseas?
No, they can still be made in this country despite all
well,
those
there's
announcements.
your starting point, right? Then if it is a British retailer with a British factory in this country creating these knives, go and shut down the factory.
Again, so many police officers saying the problem is not necessarily the supply. As you said moments ago, Bev, the problem is that they're not able to crack down on people who would use them for nefarious
I cannot
purposes.
conceive of why anybody would want to own one of those knives.
Martial arts. There might be some martial arts that would use these sorts of things, and maybe performances. I mean, it's silly. It's like obscure stuff like circuses or, that people in the arts
have an
might use them.
artificial one.
Yeah. Charlie, thank
Have
you.
one
It's
made of
fascinating.
plastic.
Thanks.